I came across a drifting ship. I took a look inside. I found a note that someone wrote that said, take her for a ride. I set a course for sights unseen, went out to open sea. To my surprise, a bunch of sailors joined along with me. Now we're sailing on the mystery ship, and all the sailors here are really here. There isn't any cost of membership. All that you gotta do is join our trip. Yeah, I'm the captain of the mystery ship, and I'm a-calling all aboard this trip. I'm really hoping that you'll enjoy it upon the mystery ship. So bring a friend and come along with us aboard the mystery ship.
Well, there's one major screw-up already. We must be aboard the mystery ship. Nothing like switching over to the sailors' pictures at the very end of the opening. Way to go, Zoe. Way to go. Oh, dear Lord, get me through this one little episode. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. How's it going out there, everybody? It is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday night. At least it is here in Medford, Oregon, where your friend Zoso comes to you from the corner of his garage in an undisclosed location. Not like Mark Zuckerberg, 12 miles underground in a $200 million facility under his mansion in Hawaii. No, I'm just in the confines of my dirty garage, which I actually cleaned up the other day. Very happy to be here. Very happy to welcome you aboard. Thanks for joining us. We are currently live on, I believe, 5 platforms. Let's have a quick peek. I know we're live at YouTube. I'm seeing the wonderful folks right there. John Rogers, Dark Brain, Gloria Paddock. Great to see you. Andy Social, Minnesota gal. Good to see you, little lady. Hope you're doing wonderfully. Wow. Hey, that is awesome. That is awesome. Welcome, my friends. Let's check out over at Rumble, see if we are rumbling. Starface checking in over there. Good to see you. Says that there are several bodies over there watching. Whoever you are lurking, I appreciate you lurking at Rumble. You are wonderful. Wonderful. Let's go over to the home of free speech in America, and by that I mean Pilled Foxhole, where you can call them as you see them over there. A wonderful place to hang out. It really, really is. A wonderful freaking place to hang out. There's my peeps. I see them all. Oops, I need to bring that back. I did that incorrectly. Look at this. Ah, yes, 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 yes. There they are. Trick Pony, Prairie Fire, JoJo, Jo Elaine. How are you doing, little lady? That's a great picture of Gary Fleshner you sent me. That is magical. Magical. My buddy Ron, better lately in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Excuse me. Girl Patriot is with us. The Spaz Man. The Spaz Man is with us. Spaz O Yeti. Good to see you, my friend. Hope all is good. Hope all is good in your world, my friend. Prairie Fire in the house. Trick Pony, did I mention her? Val Hall, still celebrating her birthday from yesterday. It's birthday month for Val. Birthday month. Be sure and wish her a happy birthday if you didn't get a chance to yesterday. One of our favorites around here. Sigurd, the Dragon Slayer in the house. Zoomer, M1911 Zoom is with us. Just, folks, we got the best of the best here. The best of the best. Did I see Salty Nuts? He did, and he brought the love, baby. He brought a cookie. Thank you, Salty, for your help just literally minutes ago. Saved my hiney. Viewmaster ready. Do you remember those things? What a great oh man, that's a great sticker. Girl Patriot. The Viewmaster. LT 57 FSH, good to see you. Thank you all for hanging out aboard the mystery ship over at Pilled Foxhole. It is Val says just a birthday weekend. Wow. Well, good for you. Enjoy the weekend, my dear. Enjoy the weekend. Let's see how we're doing at D Live, the home of the champions. We are the champions. There they are, too. They are not messing around. Artist 61 is with us. Now, there's a great sticker. Artist, great sticker. Bad Zoot. How are you doing? Good to have you aboard. Val Kimber is with us. Me love you long time, Val. Long time. Gloria Paddock is also over there spreading the love, as is Mad Pogue. They know how to get around these people. Lynn Winters in the house. Peggy Dancer is there. Ron just gifted a 1-month subscription to Peggy Dancer. That is phenomenal. Wow. That is very cool. Black Cat in the house. Don't let her cross your path, people. To me, it's nothing but good luck. But it's always good luck when a black cat crosses my path. Great to have you aboard, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Anybody else I miss? Amethyst Cat? Miss Kitty? In the flesh? Good to see you. Where Miss Kitty is, that means Sheeple Beware is close nearby. Spudley in the house. We got them all, people. We got them all. We got them all. Should I have a look? Should I have a look at, just to say I did, over at Twitch? Are we twitching that itch? Just want to make sure we're live. That's all I want to do. Just want to make sure we're live over there. We are. It's a beautiful picture. My God, that's a phenomenal picture. I'm going to say hello just in case somebody shows up. Hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, my friends. It is a Sunday night, as I mentioned. It's so funny. I broadcast yesterday morning, and I started off the show. With just a series of songs about rain and storms and all of that, because when I was literally walking in the door to the studio yesterday, it was hell on wheels out there. I mean, it was like Armageddon. It was raining like there's no tomorrow. And what cracked me up is that Mrs. Zoe had just left to go do a 14-mile walk. I think she ended up doing 12, but that is respectable, especially in weather like that. It was not agreeable for doing something like walking down by the river, walking by the creek, which is what she did. But today was this absolutely beautiful, sunny, delightful day. I think it was like 54, 55. What did it get up to today? Hell, it's 52 right now. So that doesn't say what we topped out at. But man, it was seriously, it was nice. It was just a beautiful freaking day. When I first moved to Oregon, they used to say, if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes. And I'm not kidding you. I have seen days here in Oregon where it is a gorgeous, gorgeous sunny day. And then the skies just turn black and it rains like there's no tomorrow. And then it turns right back into a gorgeous sunny day. And then we'll get hail the size of, nickels. Okay? Then it goes back to a sunny day again. So, boy, one thing about Oregon, you'd never know. You just never freaking know. But today was so nice. So nice. So today I'm laying around the house. And didn't have a whole lot planned. There are a couple of things I wanted to do. I'm trying to get rid of I have a storage unit, and I really want to get rid of everything that's left in there. You know, I've got some snow tires. I'm trying to downsize. I don't need a freaking storage. Why does a guy like me need a storage unit? Nothing in there is so damn important. I kind of narrowed it down today. I walked through the thing, and I mean, there's a nice pressure washer that I need to get repaired. That's worth fixing. I have a giant stand-up compressor that works. It's just I don't need it all the time. We have a Mambo compressor here, so unless I donated it to my work, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing, what the hell? I just need to downsize the rest of that shit. Get it out of my life. So I screwed around down there. That was big on my list of things to do. And then I was going to come home and I was going to re-edit. I was going to completely re-edit the opening of the show. I've got some ideas. I want to do something completely different. I want there to be an opening. I want there to be a closing. So I have them. I have them recorded. 2 different songs. I've sung them both. I just never got around to literally doing the editing. But while I was screwing around, I came across a song that I just love. So I played it. And it's by Three Dog Night, called Shambhala. And I've often heard the name Shambhala, and I know it has something to do with Eastern mysticism, and it is a revered place of wonder and joy and all of that stuff. So I set out to learn about Shambhala today, not planning at all on diving into the rabbit hole that I fell down, but I tumbled. I went like Alice in Wonderland, folks. I disappeared for several hours, and literally just up until just the last few minutes, I was still garnering information. I've got freaking pages of notes to share with you. This is, oh my God, it's insane. Just in search of a good time. In search of a good time. That's what I like to do, is learn new things. I'm always trying to be able to hold a conversation about things that just seem out there to most. That's right up my alley. There's no question about it. No question about it. Now, this is going to be a tangled web. It's literally like, I watched Duppy yesterday morning. Great show he was on. A fabulous researcher. And, man, that guy does his freaking homework. I would so love to be able to just sit down and provide photos and backups and family trees and all the stuff that Duppy. Where did people get the time? That's what I want to know. Because it seems like all I do is work and sleep. I come home, grab a little something to eat, and man, I'm looking for my pillow. Seriously. If I had time to research and dig into the things that fascinate me, do you remember the Twilight Zone, the episode of the bookworm guy? He had Coke bottle eyeglasses. I think he was a bank teller, and he loved the library. He loved to read every day. He would, go to the library and check out a new book and whatever. And I guess I can't remember the story, but I think he goes into the bank vault, and there was some kind of nuclear blast, and he comes out of the vault to find that everything in the world is decimated, with the exception of himself. And I guess he looks across the street, and there's the library. So all of the things that used to pester him and take up his time, like his job and his bitching boss and all that stuff, there was now nothing but forever for him to sit and read to his little heart's content. And what happens? He drops his eyeglasses and steps on them and breaks them. And therefore, it's ruined. His dream of learning all the world's secrets is gone. I kind of feel like that little nerd. I really do. If I won the lottery, tomorrow, besides buying my kids a couple of new cars and maybe some housing, I really don't know that I would change a lot, because I really kind of have everything I need. I don't need stuff. I need less stuff. But what I would like is more time. Time waits for no one. Time is on my side. Oh, all of those things. All of those things. All right. I'm really hoping that you're going to find this evening as fascinating as I did, because holy Hannah, I fell in deep, people. I fell in deep. I learned things today that kind of freaked me out. I hope to be able to share at least a few of them with you. And the last thing I want to do is freak you out. That is the last thing that I want to do. All right. All of those things. Where am I getting an echo? Is it Twitch? No. Is it DLive? No. I have an echo somewhere. I learned things today that kind of freaked me out. kind of freaked me out. I hope to be able to share at least a few of them with you. And the last thing I want to do sometimes is freak you out.
Oh, for
That is
God's
the last
sakes.
thing that I want to do.
There it is. There it is. It was at Pilled Foxhole. I hope you guys weren't enjoying the double echo that I was. But yes, Purple Pixie says, I need nothing if I won the lottery. See, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Nothing. Okay. We will be back following this 2+ minute break. This is the perfect opportunity for you to refresh your beverages. You can go and use the restroom. You can take your dog outside if old Smokey needs a quick trip to the tree. This is your chance. Get yourself a little bowl of potato chips and some sour cream to dip them in while you listen to Zoe rant and roll about Shambhala. Oh, we're going to go. This is crazy. Anyway, we'll be back immediately following this, right here on the Mystery Ship. See you in like 2 minutes-ish, something like that.
Why do we sail upon the Mystery Ship? 'Cause we never know where we'll go next.
This is the time I take a moment to thank the wonderful people who support the show in all the different ways that you can and do. God bless those of you who find it in your hearts to send old brother Zoe, some surprises to PayPal or, the usual sneaky little ways that people surprise me. And those of you who feel inclined to share some gold pills and some lemons,
You are absolutely wonderful. Just wonderful. You keep the boat afloat, people. You really keep the boat afloat. But the truth is, one of the nicest, most wonderful ways that you can support this program doesn't cost a penny. It's just simply telling people about it, sharing it with your friends. You know what's crazy is I found that a lot of people who, like tonight when I clicked in to D Live, it said you have 3 new followers, blah, blah, blah. I think they stumbled upon me during the Saturday show. But however they found us, I'm thankful to have them. Every time I look, there's just a couple of more names, couple of more numbers go up. It is so wonderful. Those of you who share this show, whatever you do, put it on your Facebook, put it on your Gab, whatever, your X. Thank you, because it shows somebody's doing something somewhere, and I love you for it. One more quick peek around, make sure we're still live everywhere we're supposed to be. Yes, we are. We are live there. We're live here. Are we live at? Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Old timer. All the time wasted on getting stuff. Isn't it true, old timer? Isn't it true? All the time wasted. Time could be our best friend. You know, it really could. We are live at YouTube. Pilled is kicking butt. Thank you, Purple Pixie. That's very kind of you. Very, very kind of you. Thank you, sister. Thank you so much. All right. Sheeple, beware, in the house. He's eating his popcorn. Very cool. So today, I'm listening to the song Shambhala. And I thought, I've heard about Shambhala. I need to find out a little bit more. Just a little bit more about Shambhala. So, hang on just a second. Just a half a second. You'd think I would have had this called up, but I didn't. Yes. So, Shambhala is this place in Tibetan Buddhist traditions. Shambhala is this place of ultimate enlightenment. There's no sickness, disease, war. There's nothing but Om. It is like pure enlightenment. It is to be like the gods themselves. It's also, depending on where you look and what you read about it, it is rumored to be the capital city of a place called, oh man, what is it called? Do you think I would have written this down? It's something like Angora or Angora, whatever. Now, about 2 months ago, I was asked to join my dear brother Salty Nuts on his program, and we had a wonderful show that night, and we were talking about Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd, the explorer, the amazing explorer, and this guy, how has he been described? Like he makes Indiana Jones look like a piker. Okay, this guy seriously explored everything that could be explored. A very sad thing, though. A lot of Admiral Byrd's writings and interviews have been scrubbed from the internet, which you wonder why would they scrub a piece of fairly recent history? What is it that they're afraid of people learning? Now, some of Byrd's some of Byrd's information that he shared with us takes a leap of faith. To be perfectly honest with you, a gigantic leap of faith. I'm going to read some excerpts from something that Salty went over that night, and it was something I had researched before. Admiral Byrd not only I mean, the guy went everywhere. He went freaking everywhere. Probably he's the Captain Kirk, or a real life Captain Kirk, to boldly go where no man has gone before. That was Admiral Byrd, okay? And 6 times on Sunday. Just a manly man. So Byrd, one of his famous expeditions was to the North Pole. And I had some photos and some stuff for you. I don't dare try to pull them up. If I do, I will lose the critical information that I do have on my computer here. So we're just going to have to use your imagination. Picture this incredible man doing what he does best, exploring. Okay? So in like 1925, he headed for the North Pole. I've got 2 moths here, flying in stereo, and they're driving me absolutely out of my mind. I'm gonna have to kill them. And I don't like killing for the sake of killing, but they gotta go. They gotta go. Due diligence says it's because he went far beyond what was expected. So one of the most amazing records that we have, and it was considered lost for the longest time, was Byrd's personal diary. Okay? His personal diary about his trip to the North Pole. And he and a radio man were in a plane, and the guy documented. This guy documented everything. I mean, he would have made a fantastic superintendent. You know, the way that he left no stone unturned. He felt it was important to write down everything, and I'm very glad that he did. We are going to quickly examine here. I'm going to see if I can share this with you. Whilst I attempt to read it to you. This is the Admiral Byrd. Okay, I'm even going to put it on the screen for you. Okay. This is the Admiral Byrd. Where's my cursor? There it is. The Admiral Byrd Diary. The exploration flight over the North Pole. My inner Earth. The inner Earth, my secret diary. My secret diary. So he says, this is Byrd's own words, people. And on another page I have here, it shows his handwritten. I don't dare try to switch it right now. I don't dare try to switch. Be thankful for what we have. So you can see his handwritten notes of this very diary. And he says he writes this in secrecy, in obscurity. It concerns his Arctic flight of the 19th of February in 1947. And look what he says. There comes a time when the rationality of man must fade into insignificance, and one must accept the inevitability of truth. He's not at liberty to disclose the following documentation at this writing. Perhaps it shall never see the light of public scrutiny, but he must do his duty and record here for all to read one day. In a world of greed and exploitation, of mankind can no longer suppress that which is truth. Now, one thing I love about the man is he revered truth. To him, truth was above all else. So in this writing, he talks about taking this plane, heading for the North Pole, and they have some problems. He broke his sextant, so it was on a table in the plane, and it fell over. He had been recording his navigations and in longitude, latitude, etc., and the sextant fell and broke the glass. So he had to find his way back using what is a term which we call dead reckoning, which is basically going with your gut, going with your freaking gut. But he wrote down in this diary, and I should post this. I should post this. I'm going to post this for you. I'm going to put it in all the chats so that you can read it later, because I'm telling you, this is some fascinating shit. This really is some fascinating shit, okay? Yeah, okay, I've got it on 3 of the channels. 4 of the channels. Let's drop it over to the champions over there. Boom. Okay, so everybody has this. This is your homework. Hey, Deus Volt hung out over at Twitch. Good for you. Good for you. All right. So in his diary, Bird talks about they're flying low, and they're out of nowhere, where he is expecting to see snow-covered mountains and all of that stuff, because they're nearing the North Pole, people, okay? Yeah, I mean, they're looking for Santa Claus. All of a sudden, he starts seeing lush green valleys and fields. And he looks down, and to his amazement, he sees what at first he thought was an elephant. And then he took a better look and realized it's a woolly mammoth. And he couldn't believe his eyes, so he turned the plane back around and got a second look, and sure as shit, he saw what he says was a woolly mammoth. Now, it gets to a point where he had to write a lot of this down based on his memory, okay? He was so busy trying to keep the plane going and all that he couldn't write as he went. So, but I'm very thankful that he left this for us for all time. He continues on, and out of nowhere, a couple of other flying vehicles show up on either side of him. And he says in his diary that all of a sudden his controls were worthless. His trim, nothing did anything, okay? It's as if the plane was on autopilot, even though they didn't have autopilot back then, but he would have described it as autopilot if they had it in those days. So he lets go of the steering wheel, and these planes take over, and they're not planes, they're flying craft of some kind. They bring him in, and they bring him in for a landing in the inner Earth. Inner Earth. They land comfortably. He gets shown around. He gets told that he's going to be meeting the big guy, okay? And I'm not talking the big guy who gets 10%. We're talking the real big guy. And they were given something to drink, which he described as the most delicious elixir he had ever tasted. And the long and short of it is, these people that resided in inner Earth were very, very far advanced, way, way beyond man at the present day, back in those days, okay? And the whole reason they brought him in is they said they knew he was a man of integrity and someone who could be trusted, someone of prominence. They knew who he was. And basically the people of the inner Earth said to him, especially the big guy, said to him, you guys up there on the surface are getting a little reckless. And the damage, with the advent of the atomic bomb, we could very easily wipe out all of humanity. And these people on the inner Earth didn't want to see their habitat destroyed by us loonies up on the surface. Like I said, people, it takes a little bit of a leap of faith to believe what Admiral Byrd shared with us. But nonetheless, I mean, he shared all of this with us. It's in that. I gave you the link. I'm telling you, read it. Read it and have your minds blown. But I believe, or let's just to say, I have a hunch. I can't say I believe it. I have a hunch that the place that Admiral Byrd was taken to was essentially Shambhala. Or Shambhala is the main city in this place called, is it Angora or something? I mean, you guys know more about this than I do. You people with tons of time on your hands. What the hell is the name of that town? Angora? I'll come across it. But anyway, these people had reached enlightenment, okay? They had reached nirvana. They were all there. And they laid it all out for him to see. And they eventually put him back in his plane, and they said, we're going to send you back, but we want you to tell the big guys in charge of your planet to quit fucking around and get your shit together, because you're messing with the big stuff now, okay? Now that you have atomic bombs and all that, you know, you don't know the danger that you're playing with. You could inadvertently wipe your species out and wipe us out at the same time. So basically they were telling him, tell them to get their shit together, would you please? You like the way I can paraphrase 40 pages of his diary into just one small paragraph? But so now there are tools. There are tools that people use that can also help someone to gain this enlightenment. It is rumored that King Solomon, let me pull this up. This I don't want to just shoot from the hip. I want to actually read this. So supposedly there were these 4 stones that fell to earth, okay? And they had powers. These stones had powers. Let me skip ahead to this part where it talks about Solomon. Oh, actually, let me just tell you about. So there's 2 types of stones out there, okay? One is called the Philosopher's Stone. Put an X in the chat. Put an X in the chat if you have heard of the Philosopher's Stone. If this is something that has piqued your curiosity. The Philosopher's Stone was this, I don't know what it is. I don't think that it was made of stone necessarily, but it's an element of some kind that apparently the the alchemists revered this. They were looking for this Philosopher's Stone because it would give them the knowledge they needed to complete their task, which was perfection at its finest, divine illumination, and the ability to turn things like mercury and other elements into gold. These people truly believed these alchemists believed that together with this voodoo, if you had this philosopher's stone, it would impart to you the knowledge necessary to turn things like mercury into gold. It's amazing how gold has always been that sought after element, isn't it? Gold. Such a big, big fucking deal. The Philosopher's Stone was the central symbol of the mystical terminology of alchemy, symbolizing the perfection at its finest, divine illumination. Earliest known written mention of the Philosopher's Stone was circa 300 AD in the Shirakmeta, which is I guess a book or a story by this guy named Zosimos of Panopolis. I know you'll sleep easier knowing this. Zosimos of Panopolis could be a distant relative. I don't know. Alchemical writers actually have a longer history, though. There was a book that came out in 1620 entitled Gloria Mundi. No relation to Gloria Paddock. But in 1620, this book, Gloria Mundi, we don't know who the author was. To this day, we don't know the author of the Gloria Mundi. But they claim the knowledge of this philosopher's stone actually, and its history, this philosopher's stone actually dates back to Adam. And that Adam gained the knowledge about this stone from God himself. So, who knows if this philosopher's stone is a rumor or something handy to have hanging around? Who knows if the Rockefellers have it down in their basement? Who knows? Who knows? It's probably right up there with the Holy Grail and the, all of man's missing treasures, the things we would like to get our hands on, the Ark of the Covenant. I guess you can throw the Philosopher's Stone right in there with that, as well as these Chintamani stones. Okay, so apparently there were 4 Chintamani stones that were held in reverence by the Buddhists, Taoists. What we know about the stone is that these stones, the Chintamani stones, they appear to be trapezohedron made of black stone or ore with glowing striations. However, it is more or less stone. Scientists today would not be able to study it because it exists only partially in humanity's, that's us, our concept of matter and space. So the Chintamani stone is more than an artifact. It is the key. It is the key to doors that were sealed eons ago. Part of the stone, part of the 4 stones making up the Chintamani stone that supposedly came from space itself, was kept in a monastery in Tibet. A second one is supposedly in the Museum of Natural History in Manhattan. One is in Agartha, that's the place under the earth that those smart people who landed Bird's Plane, that's where they lived, Agartha. And Shambhala was their capital city in Agartha. One ancient South American legend relates that the god Tavira built a temple on an island in the Lake Titicaca to hold 3 holy stones called the Kala. It is believed that the 3 holy stones in question are in fact the Chintamani stone. Now, some Some reports say that there were 4 of these stones. Some reports say that there are only 3 of them. These 3 black stones, as they are now, were venerated by Muslims in the Kaaba at the Great Mosque in Mecca. There are several traditions associated with the stones, but all agree on its celestial origin. Muslims say that the stones were originally white, but turned black after absorbing all of the evil thoughts here on the earth. That's about the only thing that I can just completely agree with without going nuts. I swear to God, if this moth flies in my mouth, I've got to kill him. I've got to kill this moth. Let's see. Hang on. Where does it say that Solomon gave this stone? So it's rumored son of a gun. Where is it? It was right here. Okay, here it is. According to ancient texts, the stone, this is one of these Chintamuri stones, was sent from Tibet to King Solomon in Jerusalem, who split the stone and made a ring out of one piece. Centuries later, Muhammad took 3 other fragments to Mecca. A smaller fragment was sent with this. We're about to open a can of worms, people. A smaller fragment was sent to Europe to aid in the establishment of the League of Nations. So let's back off of these stones for just a second, okay? These are revered stones, supposedly just holding these Chintamani stones in your hand gives you great enlightenment. Do you know, and I could probably pull up a picture, but I'm sure I don't need to. You know all of the Egyptian drawings where it shows all of them holding 2 things. One, a lot of the drawings show, or stone carvings, excuse me, show them holding something that resembles like a purse. It's like they all have this little black bag or something, right? And in their other hand, they have something that resembles like a pine cone. Now, I don't necessarily know that it's a pine cone, but in depiction after depiction, it shows them holding this object in their hand. I'm wondering if that could be these Chintamani stones that they're talking about. I mean, these things supposedly gave you all of the answers to all of your questions. And Solomon was, known to be the most brilliant man ever. He could talk to the grass and the birds. At the turn of last century, a couple of Russians who weren't really crazy about communism, they had a sponsor here in the United States, and they decided to make their way over to the U.S. I'm talking about Nicholas and Helena Roerich, Roerich. Nicholas and Helena Roerich. Now, these were mystics, okay? They practiced, let's just say that. Now, I don't know. I don't want to say something negative about. I wasn't there. But from what I've read, from what I've tried to dig up on them, here. Is this them? Yes. Nicholas Roerich. Let's just put him on the screen for you. So here he is, Nicholas Roerich. Yes. So apparently he was interested in these stones. And from what I was able to dig up today, apparently he made not one, but two trips to Tibet. And he went deep, deep into these mountains. Apparently, on his first trip, he and his party of explorers, including his wife, Helena, they went and they disappeared for 12 months. Flat out disappeared. They did eventually show up. I don't believe their entire party was intact when they came back. I think they went with like 15 people and only came back with 8, but something happened to them while they were deep, deep in the mountains of Tibet. This is all rumor, okay? This is the kind of things you dig into on a Sunday afternoon when you wish you had more time to study your subject than you really do. But apparently he came back to the U.S., told the president at the time, the president of the country. So this guy must have had some serious freaking connections about what he had seen and what he had, let's just say, experienced. Was that a good enough term? Is that vague enough for you? So they send him back. They send him back to Tibet. This time they funded him. The United States funded him, and he came back. The rumor has it that he found this temple way the hell up in the Himalayas, and that whoever the guru was in charge of that temple saw the freckles on Roerich's face, and it came over him that Roerich was this, I don't know, the 13th Dalai Lama, or so the story goes. So apparently they gave Roerich this guru up there in the hills, gave Roerich one of these stones, these Chintamari stones, which he brought back with him, and feeling empowered. I guess the stones were present when they were trying to put together the first, quote unquote, League of Nations. Okay, the first stab at the United Nations. Apparently, if you possess one of these stones, you have great power. Now, I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of research needs to continue before I can, speak with any kind of authority on this. But I mean, I just kept going into rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole in digging up information on this. In Mahayana Buddhism, the Chintamari stones are held by the bodhisattvas. They in unbelievably high regard. These stones, tradition maintains, hold the wisdom of the Buddhas, so that if you are in possession of one of these stones, like, you are all knowledgeable. I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing to grasp. Could these things really exist? Could the Philosopher's Stone and the Chintamani stones, could these things really exist? Now, one of the things I read today state that this Roerich character, Nicholas Roerich, on his second trip back to Tibet, when the Buddhist monk or whoever gave him the stone, that he said he looked at it and recognized Sanskrit writing on it, and that it's, I, believe it or not, I mean, I know that people were far more educated back then than they are now. They've been dumbing us down for over 100 years now. Supposedly, the etchings in the stone say something like a gift from the gods, or the stone comes from the cosmos, something to that degree. I find it amazing that Nicholas Roerich could read Sanskrit, but maybe he brought it back and they looked at it, and that's when they found out it was Sanskrit. I don't know. I have to say, you have to search so hard to get any information on these stones. It's unbelievable. But the circles that this guy ran around in, okay, all of the rich some bitches, the bad boys, I'm talking the Warburgs, all of the men who started the Federal Reserve and who pushed for there to be the League of Nations and ultimately the United Nations. They all hung around in the same circles. There was some really interesting information. It was while coming across this and these stones and who these characters were hanging out with at the time, and the circles, the people that they hung out with. There was, as a neat aside, I found out a bit about Jekyll Island. And apparently, I'm sure everyone knows that Jekyll Island is a little island off of the state of Georgia, and that is where the secret meeting of bankers happened that brought the Federal Reserve into being. Okay. But apparently that freaking island, Jekyll Island, was once inhabited by these Native Americans. And these Native Americans were, let's just say, they had some rituals that you and I probably wouldn't find tasteful today, including the sacrifice of children. So I guess if I recall I want to get this right. Give me a second to think about this. I think that when the explorers came over, and the first ones that set foot on what is now Jekyll Island, they found these Native Americans who were bloodthirsty. Okay, they sacrificed children, and they had an altar. They had an altar there where all of this shit went down. So fast forward a couple of hundred years, and Jekyll Island is this place where all those wealthy, the Carnegies and all of anybody who was anybody, that's where they wanted to have summer vacation homes. Oh,
let's go down to the island, honey. The Rockefellers. Honey, let's go down to the island. I hear the Carnegies are going to be down there. Supposedly, actually, one of the bits of information I came across today. I guess I shouldn't say supposedly. Apparently, the Rockefellers built their home. They built their home directly over the temple where these child sacrifices were held. And that is the exact place where the meeting was held when they established the Federal Reserve. So I guess evil just keeps on, it's that gift that just keeps on giving. I don't know, people. I don't know. Some of this stuff gets so deep. Some of these rabbit holes get so freaking deep. I don't know what to think. I really don't. All this because I wanted to learn about Shambhala. You know, up until now, I always thought of Shambhala as this happy and wonderful song. You know, the harmonies were always so good, and man, every time I hear that song now, I'm never gonna think about it the same way again. Let's get back to these Rorik and the Stones, okay? Because they were mystics, okay? These people, they practiced black magic and the like, okay? Nicholas and Helena Rorik, they weren't playing on the right team, okay? They were the bad guys. Oh, this moth, you gotta go, baby. You gotta go. All right. So the most recent mention of this stone is from the 1920s and directly references that these stones, these Chintamari stones, were actually called keys. Keys to knowledge, keys to enlightenment. All you know is, I would love to get one of these stones in my hand. I want to see what kind of power they are wielding. In Buddhist and in Taoist, there is a tradition of 8 immortals, okay? 8 masters who reside beneath a mountain in the Chinese-Tibet border, very likely Shambhala or Agartha. This city, known as Agartha, in some legends, and known as Si Wang Mu in others, is possibly underground and has been said by many to be near Lhasa. Now, I don't know where Lhasa is. I should have looked that up, but I'm not that good of a researcher. There have been numerous and dubious reports of explorations of tunnels leading to the city, but the most convincing came from Nicholas Rorik, a Russian artist and mystic. During his travels in Asia in the first decade of the 20th century, he heard about the 8 immortals and their abode high in the mountains. He learned from a native guide about a huge vault inside the Kunlun mountain range where treasures had been stored from the beginning of history. And he heard about these strange gray people. Strange gray people underground. The Greys? In the 1920s, a high abbot from the Trasalumpo Lamasery entrusted Rorik with a fragment of a magical stone from another world. He gave Rorik one of these Chintamari stones, alleged to have come from the Sirius star system. Ancient Asian texts claim that when the sun, S-O-N, of the sun, S-U-N,
descended upon the earth to teach mankind, there fell from heaven a shield which bore the power of the world. Okay? So that's apparently where these stones came from and got their power. Rorschach's wife, Helena, wrote that the stone possessed a dark luster like a dark heart with 4 unknown letters. Rorik recognized the 4 letters on the stone to be Sanskrit and translated them to mean, "Through the stars I come. I bring the chalice covered with a shield. Within it I bring a treasure, the gift of Orion." So I guess he was really up on his Sanskrit. This guy was, apparently he was all that. Or maybe holding the stone in his hand gave him the ability to decipher this stuff. I mean, it's supposed to hold all knowledge, all wisdom within these stones. Who knows? Its radiation, the stone's radiation was stronger than radium, but on a different frequency. Asian legends state that this radiation covers a vast area and influences world events. The main mass of the stone is kept in a tower in the city of Starborn. Now, I didn't have the time to investigate that. I have no idea what the hell Starborn is. As we talked about King Solomon, who split the stone and made a ring out of it. So during Rorik's journey to Tibet, he reported that he saw a flying disc, a term he used 2 decades before the phrase was coined. A flying disc, very much like the ones that Admiral Byrd saw when he went inside Hollow Earth to perhaps Agartha and maybe to Shambhala. Rorik's theory about the stone is that it is charged with shugs, that's S-H-U-G-S, which is currents of psychic force. He speculated that it resembled an electrical accumulator and may give back in one way or another the energy stored within it. For instance, it will increase the spiritual vitality of anyone who touches it, infusing him with knowledge or enhancing psychic abilities that allow him to glimpse Agartha, the valley of the 8 immortals. The stone, according to Balaam, which I'm guessing is a religion, is a key, the key to all futures and everyone's destiny. It is a point of power, a non-technological quantum vortex. Now, this is crazy. I mean, you have to take a leap of faith to even consider some of these things. I did come across, where is it? I came across a forum. I came across a forum from a guy who does astral projection. Okay, this is one of those guys who can leave his body. He can, when he floats up in the air, he can turn around and see himself laying there. Meanwhile, he goes for a ride in his mind. Okay, I have to. I don't do this. Okay, I've heard many stories. I've read all kinds of stuff about people who have the ability to do this. It's an interesting theory to me. What the other thing that I think is very interesting is people who can do remote viewing. You know, it's similar to, it's one of those unique powers like telekinesis. Okay, like Carrie had in the movie. All right, I don't know who's to say what can or cannot happen. But I'm going to read this to you. This comes from a guy. His name is Nama Shivaya Nick. Nama Shivaya Nick. Okay. He studies and practices meditation daily. Spontaneous awakening is what he claims to do. Whatever that is, you tell me, we'll both know. But someone asked the question, do Shambhala and Agartha really exist? If so, where are they located? And this guy answered. He said, I can answer this question because I have personally experienced subterranean realms and the inhabitants that dwell there, the good Agarthians and the evil Tero/Dero. I will tell you that these are located deep within the earth, and I believe that they are actually in a separate dimension. When I was a young adult in my early 20s, I had been fascinated with the stories of Agartha and its shining city of Shambhala. I read the diary of Admiral Richard Byrd, a world-famous explorer and pilot in the U.S. Navy. He was the first man to lead flight expeditions to the North and South Poles and was a very credible and accomplished man. Admiral Byrd wrote highly detailed descriptions of finding giant entrances, basically enormous holes in the earth at the poles, and was a very he had the courage to fly into these holes after observing lush vegetation and even animals around these areas that were supposed to be just freezing glaciers. After navigating into the entrance, he was greeted by highly intelligent, evolutionarily advanced human beings, like those who came to his side in great flying machines and ushered the admiral into their land. He said they were able to communicate with him by thought, and that they only allowed him to enter their land because they could sense he was a good, moral man with a lot of influence on the world. He was allowed to stay in Agartha for several days as these advanced, incredibly tall, beautiful, and extremely long-lived beings showed him their world, their advanced technologies, and their society. The leaders of Agartha explained how they had moved into subterranean Earth thousands of years ago around the time of the Great Flood. They explained that a great change happened on the Earth at that time, and humankind started to become self-destructive. They were already an advanced race at that time that they entered the Earth. They were much taller and stronger than the average humans and had great powers of all kinds, including telepathy and concealment. And according to the writer of this forum, it's his belief that they are the giants spoken of in the Old Testament, perhaps the Nephilim, a race said to be the result of fallen angels and men. Believe what you will about that. This man says his personal belief is that these beings were a more advanced alien race that visited Earth, and after moving into the Earth, the inside of the Earth, the race continued to thrive and evolve at an incredible rate, much faster than the surface-dwelling cousins, us human plebes. Apparently, these people lived for thousands of years. They grew to incredible heights and strengths, and they developed technologies that far exceeded our own. An example of this, as written by Admiral Byrd, was that they had a way to heat and cook their vegetarian food without a fire and without destroying any of the nutrients in the food. They could somehow warm it without a microwave. They had no violence in their land, no poverty, no disease, and everyone lived blissfully. It's said that the inhabitants of Agartha stayed hidden for thousands of years by dimensional barriers that hid their entrances in ways that no man could find. They continuously sent telepathic messages to Earthlings in hopes of helping us dumb ones, guiding us in the right direction for world peace and unity. And they occasionally even visited the Earth to observe and collect data that would kind of make sense about the, all the UFOs that were seen in the late 40s and 50s, the UFO craze when the flying saucers. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Now, this writer here, he says it's his belief that most of the UFOs we see on Earth are actually coming from within it and not from deep space. That they are the inhabitants of Agartha who feel the need to interfere with these acts that we are doing up here, and that they have messages for mankind to just tell us to back off on the gas, quit trying to blow the place up. Yeah, boy, it'd be a nice time for them to come up and visit us right now. That's all I can say. Let's see. He says that a private explorer was organizing a ship expedition to find these entrances in the early 2000s, and all of the spots had been filled in. But the man went missing, and the trip got canceled. And the guy can't find any info on it anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy. So this guy says in his astral projections, when he would leave his body and go places, that he would go there. He said the beautiful advanced beings of the inner earth warned that there are other groups of beings out there who had entered the dimensions of Hollow Earth who were not good. And they were not kind. These are what were they called? Toradori or Tarot Dello. These are some ugly, twisted, disgusting beings. They feed off energies of fear and negativity of humankind, and supposedly kidnapped men and women from the surface to consume, literally. Like when people go disappearing, they may have been abducted by these blue meanies, let's call them, okay? So this guy says, in my early 20s, I had become an expert astral projector through much practice and determination, something I wish I was still able to do so easily in his late 30s. He was at the point where he was traveling in the ether literally every night for a while with full conscious awareness. He said it was an awesome thing, and most of what you may have seen or heard about it is true and is accessible. I have to interject here. I have never in my life wanted to wanted to leave my body and go on a sightseeing tour. I'm sorry, that's just not something that intrigues me. I'm I'm happy in this meat suit. Very happy in it. Very happy. What this guy says, though, that he was naive, though. He said he wasn't the best about protecting himself during these travels of his, and sometimes he just floated out into the night without first taking steps to properly cover himself in protective white light, something that protects you from dark energies that you may encounter in the astral realm. But he says it also downright hides you from some of these undesirable beings in the astral realm. So apparently, if you go free floating out into the night in doing astral projections, there are good and bad entities both out there. And you need to be aware of where you're going, what you're doing, and take protections to keep yourself safe. He said one night he was preparing himself for an astral projection. In the usual manner, he would lay down flat on the floor in the second floor of his place where he slept a lot. And he said that this time, instead of gradually floating upwards like he normally did, he said that this time he was pulled down violently. He said he remembered falling through the floor of the second floor of the house, then through the first floor of the house, going through the basement floor and down into the cold earth. He said that his astral body traveled for what seemed like hundreds of feet, maybe more, and then finally he came out into a giant dark cavern far underneath his house as he knew it. He said he was confused and had never experienced anything like this in his previous astral projections. He said in the distance he could see some dimly lit, some small fires going on in the distance. He said it was hard to see, but he floated around for a while nervously and wanting to see just what this place was. And then he started to hear these noises. These are the bad people. These are well, I'll have their name here in the Deru, whatever the hell they're called. He goes, I heard these sloppy grunts and wheezes coming from the dark, but he said it was loud. He said it was like they were communicating in a language of snorts and grunts. He goes, I followed these sounds until I saw them, first only in shadows in the distance, but then as my eyes adjusted to more to the dark, I could see them plainly. Large, gross-looking human beings. They were like a pinkish tan color, mostly naked, and that they were just like a cross of a pig and a human, mostly human in shape, but with very, very fat, flabby bodies. And their faces were horrible amalgamations of human, pig, and they had long pink trunks for noses like an elephant. It just sounds disgusting, doesn't it? Ugh. He goes, seeing this absolutely terrified me, and now I realize the fear that I must have been. That's why these people were noticing him. They feed on fear. So they couldn't see him because he was only in spirit, but they sensed him because they feed off of fear. And he said they started to get angry and active, grunting wildly and searching and sniffing for him in the dim cavern. They knew he was there in an astral body and wanted to catch him. He goes, I became very frightened and started to think of my physical body and its current location in great detail, something that always snapped me back into myself and allowed me to return to my body. He goes, but it wasn't working fast as normal. So I started to panic, and they could tell. He said, finally, I felt the feeling that is usually signified I'd be returning to my physical body, and like a rocket, I blasted up through the top of the cavern and returned through the earth back into my house and into my body. I sat up very fast and remember shaking uncontrollably, waking my girlfriend at the time and crying as she tried to console me. He goes, here's where it gets kind of chilling. I was telling a friend who was an expert in occultic literature and practices of all types, and had a great many books on the alien species and supposed myths. He was telling this guy about his experience and described the beings that he saw. And the guy said, oh my God. And he reached for one of his books. He reached for one of his books off the shelf and pulled out a picture. Yes, these are the beings, the tarot or the Darrow. So apparently, in inner Earth, besides these wonderful, beings that the ones that Admiral Byrd ran into, apparently you got bad guys too. I'm going to share this picture with you. This is look at these guys. These are the Tarot Darrow of inner Earth. Where's my cursor? There it is. Yep, these are the Tarot Darrow of inner Earth. Kind of reminds me of the women on The View, doesn't it? All I know is I wouldn't want those things after me. I wouldn't want those things after me. So folks, I just scratched the freaking surface looking at this stuff. There is some really, really wild and crazy stuff out there if you look for it. All because I wanted to find out a little bit about Shambhala. I'm telling you, I will never hear that song again and think the same thing. It is crazy. It's crazy. And it's such a happy song. Wow. Nuts. If you come across any stones in your yard and you pick them up and you feel incredible power, you might want to hang on to them. I have to say, spurred on, on Saturday. No, was it Saturday? Yeah, it was on Saturday. Frank did a repeat of his Friday night show. And the guest that he had on that night, I don't know the guy's name, was really, really up on studying history and all of the things that we have been lied to about. And I mean, this is something that also fascinates me. I'm a devout believer that we have been lied to from day one about everything, and they're trying as fast as they can to remove our history as quickly as possible so that they can brainwash us further. The beautiful buildings and stuff that used to exist all throughout this country are just amazing. Where they came from and things like the truth about the ancient pyramids and all of that stuff. That was this guy's forte. But one day, I hope the truth comes out about everything, because someone has an agenda out there to keep us from truth. And by God, if that is something that Admiral Byrd revered, then damn it, so do I. I think it's amazing. Byrd's story. Byrd's Bird story. Please read it if you can. I dropped it in the chat earlier. Here, let me see if I can do it one more time. If anybody showed up late, there it is. Yep. I'll drop it one more time. That's Admiral Byrd's personal journal about what he saw going down to Agartha. I found it fascinating. Just fucking fascinating. Matty F&B, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to freaking see you. Let's see, did I get them all? Okay, that's right. Good, it's still there. It's still there. 9 people watching over at Rumble. Whoever you are, I freaking love you. Folks, it's crazy. But truth will, my life was so much easier. It was so much easier when I was just a happy-go-lucky idiot who believed everything he saw on television and believed everything they taught us in school and didn't think much about, questioning everything. But now, and for the last 25 years, I question everything. There's more things I don't believe in than what I do believe in. There's one guy I believe in for sure, and he knows it. He knows it. Wow. Well, I see that we are reaching the end of the show here. Holy smokes, Ginger, 45, just gifted a wonderful subscription to our dear sister Joelaine. She's claimed it. It's hers. Thank you so much, Ginger 45. And let me do some shout outs here. Joelaine, Ginger 45, Chatty KC, Sean Joe, Chatty KC. Thank you, Chatty KC. I second that emotion. Due diligence, my dear brother. Thank you kindly. He had to. Oh my goodness, you were the best, buddy. Porpoiseful, thank you, darling. Purple Pixie, you are wonderful. Girl Patriot, as always. And Salty Nuts, thank you guys so much for the gold pill donations over there. You're wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I'm going to release the scratching over there. It is hereby released and coming your way. Let me get over here to Lemonland and have a look at these wonderful folks. Cosmic Grandpa in the house. Spudley is here. Lieutenant Cooker in with us. Sheeple's made it. Yeah, I love it. Sheeple, you are on it. He goes, if you think the news is fake, wait until you find out about history. That is a fact. That's the fact, Jack. Look at these. Look at these wonderful folks are donating more lemons as we speak. I am going to get into that treasure chest myself and drop a little lemon love of my own in there. Oh, yes. Here we go. Some lemon love coming your way. Lemon love coming your way. I am hereby distributing the rewards. Hereby distributing the rewards right now. Give it 24 seconds. I want to see if I can pull up this incredible picture. Okay, there it is. There it is. Folks, there's some serious. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Lieutenant Cooker on top of the heap. Arta 61. Way to go, Steph. Peggy Dancer in there. Lynn Winters and Sheeple. Good to see you on the list, buddy. Good to see you guys on the lemon list. Congratulations. Congratulations. I want to talk about a few people who are in need of some prayers and about some extraordinary news that we learned just this week. Let me see. Let me see if this just came through. Please come through. There it is. There it is. Is that it? Oh, please open up. Please open up. Come on, work with me. Work with me. All right, we're going to give that a minute. We're going to give that a minute to see if it could possibly load up. It's not loaded yet, but damn it. Come on. All right, Jolene sent me this incredible picture done by our dear brother, Sword of Michael. I hope you can see this. I'm trying to download it to my computer so I can share it with you. This is absolutely classic. I hope to God that Gary can watch this on his phone. This is the Sword of Michael is an incredibly talented artist. He does electronic art. Ooh, looks like it was open. Let's see. Can I open this? Open this. Open. Nope. Open. Come on. Ah. Dang it. Dang it. Sword of Michael does these, it's like electronic painting, okay? The guy is immensely talented. Besides being an incredible writer, he does these electric drawings. Incredible digital drawings, and this is his rendition of Gary Flessner. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. If Gary could see this right now, he's got a Jim Morrison shirt on. It's freaking crazy. It is freaking crazy. Yes, I'll be happy to include energy. You know it. You know it. Check DMs. Let me check my DMs. Maybe somebody sent me the... I don't see anything particularly screaming at me. Yep. Let me do a refresh. Maybe that'll help. Let me do a refresh. Okay. Knock that sound down. Let's go here. And let's check those DMs again. No, I don't see anything. I just don't see anything that would scream my name. Well, anyway, our dear brother Gary Flessner fell earlier this week and broke his neck. And we put the word out, and folks, hey, gosh darn it, there it is. Which one is this now? Is that this one? Okay. There it is. Oh. There it is. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Look at this electronic drawing of Gary Flessner. Look at this thing. Where is my freaking cursor? I love this. I love this. I just can't get over it. I cannot get over it. That is talent. That is amazing, amazing talent. Look at that. I'm going to have shirts made. I'm going to have mystery shirts made. Mystery ship shirts made with this image on it. This is just this side of phenomenal. That is, oh my God, that is fantastic. That is absolutely freaking fantastic. I can't get over it. Anyway, earlier this week, I reached out to Gary, was horrified to find out that he was in the hospital. He had fallen and broken his neck. He had been waiting in the hospital for 36 hours for a surgeon to look at him. 2 days later, Gary calls me and says he's out of surgery, that the doctor got in there, did an 8-hour surgery, opened up his neck, top to bottom, and got in there and fixed everything he could find. And that is highly likely that he repaired some stuff that Gary was involved in a horrible car accident some 50 years ago. And it looks as though the doctor feels that it's possible that the symptoms that Gary was thinking were myasthenia gravis might have actually been the result of unfixed broken stuff floating around in his neck that this doctor just fixed. Gary says that his symptoms are gone, that he feels like he'll never have them again. He was so very thankful for all the people praying for him. He said, folks, he said he literally could feel the prayers. He could feel the prayers. He had me in tears. He says that he is not only going to personally throw his wheelchair out, that he is going to make a full recovery. And he said he shared these words of wisdom that he wanted me to share with everyone. He said, the fight that you're fighting comes from within. It is in you. Do not give up. If you are battling something, the fight is within you. It's up to you to win that fight. And that whatever you set your mind to doing, dang it, you can do it. And Gary he's walking proof, man. He's 70 years old. According to the doctors, he should have been dead some 13, 14, 15 years ago. But he's just, what's that old Timex commercial? Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. That's him. That's our boy Gary. Fantastic news. Praise God for this incredible work. Clearly, God guided the surgeon's hands. And I'm just really happy to be able to share that great news with everyone here. I would like to ask us to please continue to pray for our dear brother Gary. He's got another month probably in the hospital before he gets out, and then there'll be rehabilitation. If you recall, he was still rehabilitating from a broken hip when this happened. So he's got a row to hoe, but he's the right man for the job. Our dear sister Jayla, 17, her husband will be going into surgery. If I'm correct, I think it is tomorrow. Please pray for them, for their family. Open heart surgery. This is really, really serious stuff. I ask that God guide the doctor's hands as he works, as he does his work in Jayla's husband. Prayers also for Inner G, for Leah Worth and her mother, our dear brother Rich Koschmider, old time sailor from way back, our brother Val Kimber and his mom. May God bless them. Our sister Peggy Dancer. I pray for our friend Artist 61, our dear brother Father Larry and his quest, that God gives him the wherewithal to do what he sees needs to be done for our veterans. God bless our veterans. Robin Tepfer and Susan Danielle, absolutely. Our dear sis, Sleeping Stars, that God would bless her as well. And folks, your prayers are golden. They are golden. There's power in those prayers. I pray also for our dear sister. She lost her mother this past week, and prayer warrior girl is one tough lady, but she's been through a rough time. I feel so badly. The rest of her family wouldn't let her see her mother because she hadn't followed the medical advice that the televisions were giving us a couple of years ago, if you're catching my drift. And therefore, she didn't get to see her mom for the last couple of years. It's heartbreaking to me. Please pray for their family for peace. That's all I ask. Peace. Same with our brother Mistborn, who recently lost his parent. It's definitely rough. It's definitely rough. Pray for their inner peace, would you? Folks, I love you all. I got to get out of here. I got a major day tomorrow. Lots of things happening. I appreciate you all so very, very, very much. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this picture as the get out of here music tonight. This one right here. I just love it. I think it's fabulous. I think it is freaking fabulous. Oh, mammy. Say goodnight to your neighbors, my friends. We're gonna put the boogity boogity on. Have a great week ahead, my friends. Love you lots. Take care, and thanks for hanging out on the mystery ship. You're all awesome. You all are awesome.